This documentary is on how easily it was for people to believe R. Kelly was a monster when he wasn't. He trusted many people, and most people took advantage of his kindness. I can prove to you that each woman lied and got a payoff for doing so. The powers that be have been using media for murdering a black male character, or just plain kill a black man or lock him up for the rest of his life. I will narrate parts in this video to prove to everyone that they were all prepared for the massacre of R. Kelly's character. Because I am pretty sure that COINTELPRO knows every girl any black celebrity has ever slept with. He was screaming for help in front of all of us, and people have become numb to the fact on how the world works. Most black people would sell their mothers for the right amount of money. I knew women that their family members molested, and nobody said a word. So please take your time and listen to this video to the completion, and comments below. I would love to hear your comments.
Tired of all of the lies. I've been hearing things and seeing things on the blogs, and I'm just tired.
What are the lies that you're hearing that disturb you most?
Oh my God, all of them. Got little girls trapped in the basement, helicopters over my house, trying to rescue someone that doesn't need rescuing because they're not in my house, handcuffing people, starving people. I have a harem, a cult. I don't even really know what a cult is, but I know I don't have one,
Have you done anything that you regret? Have you done anything wrong?
Lots of things wrong when it comes to women that I apologize, but I apologize in those relationships at the time I was in the relationships.
Have you broken any laws when it comes to women?
Absolutely not.
The 6-part series interviewed 50 people, family members, your former tour manager, numerous women who all claim that you abused them. Yeah. Are you saying everybody in that documentary was not telling the truth about you? Everybody?
If you really look at that documentary, which I'm sure you have,
I have.
Everybody said something bad about me. Nobody said nothing good. They was describing Lucifer. I'm not Lucifer. I'm a man. I make mistakes, but I'm not a devil, and by no means am I a monster.
I'm going to name the names. Andrea Kelly, your ex-wife, Kitty Jones, Lisa Van Allen, Lisette Martinez, Geronda Pace, Faith Rogers, Asante McGee. You're saying everything they said in that documentary about you is not true.
They are lying on me.
Why would these women say the same thing about you, that you are controlling, that you are abusive, that you tell women when to eat, when to go to the bathroom, when they can sleep, where they can dress? Why would all these women tell these different stories about you? They don't know each other.
Now, after just hearing how Gayle King seeming, you could tell her attitude seemed like she just want to find him guilty. But as a black man that dated many black women, you can't control no black. Ain't no black woman in this world that naive and that soft that somebody gonna control them and use them in that type of fashion. And then it just so all of a sudden all of them got the same story. That just like he just said earlier, all it takes is a rumor and they'll change up. And I'm gonna prove how they change things up. Each one of them says something different. And each one of them, like Gayle King, always lead with questions, leaning on like he's guilty. And the man telling you himself, he ain't, all of us did something wrong. None of us perfect. But that's how they kill you with media, and he's showing you how they doing this.
That defies logic to me.
Right. Until you hear the explanation. You can start a rumor on a guy like me or a celebrity just like that. All you have to do is push a button on your phone and say, so-and-so did this to me. R. Kelly did this to me. And if you get any traction from that, if you're able to write a book from that, if you're able to get a reality show, then any girl that I had a relationship in the past that it just didn't work out, she can come and say the same exact thing.
Are you blaming this on social media?
I'm talking about the power of social media. In
2008, R. Kelly was found not guilty on 14 counts of child pornography after prosecutors in Chicago failed to convince a jury that he was a man seen in a sex tape with a girl as young as 13.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You feel that people have maligned your character?
I have been assassinated. I have been buried alive. But I'm alive.
So I think the point you're making is, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you have never held anybody against their will.
I don't need to. Why would I?
Well,
How stupid would it be for R. Kelly?
Now, right here is a major point. Now, we talking about R. Kelly, a major recording artist, star status, always in the spotlight. Why would he do some crackhead stunt? And you got girls flocking all over the world just to be with this man because, for one thing, he got money and he a singer. And they always gonna go for the money. And every last one of them relationships that says something in it, that they already broke up 8 months, 2 years, and they was already over with. And then all of a sudden, when the right price come along, they get book deals and they get all these other things. And now he's the biggest monster in the world. I experienced that before. And trust me, it ain't nothing but a lie.
With all I've been through in my way, way past, to hold somebody, let alone 4, 5, 6, 50, you said. How stupid would I be to do that?
I didn't say you
That's
were holding...
stupid, guys.
I didn't...
Is this camera on me?
Yes, it's on.
That's stupid. Use your common sense. Don't forget the blogs. Forget how you feel about me. Hate me if you want to, love me if you want, but just use your common sense. How stupid would it be for me to, with my crazy past and what I've been through, right now I just think I need to be a monster and hold girls against their will, chain them up in my basement, and don't let them eat and don't let them out unless they need some shoes down the street from their uncle.
Robert,
stop it. Y'all quit playing. Quit playing.
Robert.
I didn't do this stuff. This is not me. I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this. I gave y'all 30 years of my career.
Robert.
30 years of my career. Y'all trying to kill. This is not about music. I'm trying to have a relationship with my kids, and I can't do it. Y'all just don't want to believe the truth. You don't want to believe it.
At this point, we briefly paused the interview to give Kelly a moment. His publicist helped calm him down.
I hope this camera keep going.
No, we're going to let the camera keep rolling.
This is not, doesn't even make sense. Why would I hold all these women? Their mothers and fathers told me, we're going to destroy your career.
But Kelly's emotions remained raw.
It's real girls out there missing. It's real young girls out there being abducted, being raped, okay? They really are on chains. They really do have chains on their wrists, and they can't get out.
Robert,
and they're ending up buried in dead.
Robert, we have to have a conversation. Really, I don't want you just ranting at the camera.
I came here for them to hear me talk.
But
I need help.
What kind of help?
This is the kind of help I need.
Yes, what kind of help?
I need somebody to help me not have a big heart, because my heart is so big. People betray me, and I keep forgiving them.
You sound like you're playing the victim here.
Plus, I like to iterate. They see how Gayle King said, I'm trying to play the victim. The man is a victim. He's a victim of the system, victim of society, victim of the mind frame, how people use media in order to assassinate people's character. The same thing Oprah Winfrey did to Michael Jackson in that so-called fake pedophile case. They put cases on you, and they use this media to smear you, a campaign to make you look bad. If anybody know law, it don't take nothing but a few people to say the same thing in order for you to file a lawsuit. And that's all because all it takes is a lie. If five, just like the Bible says, if 3 or more agree, it is what it is. And that's exactly what it is. When you use the media in order to gain traction, in order to smear someone, yeah, 50 people. Why all of a sudden 50 people come out of nowhere? Where does man get this money to make this whole episode to get these 50 people? And I'm pretty sure he paid every last one of them to go on there. So every last one of them could have been broke, don't got nothing going on for themselves. And all they had to do was come in and lie on R. Kelly, and they get book deals. They got their 15 minutes of fame. They get on talk shows. They make everything all about them on a lie. And then just like the girl Geronda Pace said, she was already molested or sexually assaulted before she even met R. Kelly. And she, 14 years old, asked this question: where was her parents? See, this don't make no sense to me. Where the parents was with all this stuff happening. And girl 19, this, all these exes, all ex-girlfriend, he ain't got nothing to do with him. They never made no accusations until this documentary came out. So let's make that make sense. This is all a setup, a plot to destroy a man's character. And that's all this is.
Not R. Kelly.
Y'all, excuse how I'm looking, but first of all, this is the reason why people don't take us black women seriously. And when we're saying that we're being kidnapped, raped, and made to do things that are just inhumane to society, we are judged as black women because of people like you. First of all, what are you doing being
Now, me, I'm all about black unity, and I don't like to say nothing bad about my own people. But it's women just like this, and a lot of women just like this, always adding 2 cents to something they don't know nothing about. And most of this stuff is just from likes and views and comments, but not the truth. Now, one thing I can say, ain't nobody was there. Nobody know personally R. Kelly. I don't. But I've been around situations where people like that, especially girls, young age, hang around when we was dope boys. So there's nothing changed. And they still doing it right now today. And I don't see people going to prison. So this is a whole fiasco about trying to smear R. Kelly is ridiculous. But this girl right here, Geronda Pace, gonna prove my point on just how inaccurate this whole investigation was. And he was only convicted based on
having sex with people your age.
Documentary.
And you're excited to go to his trial?
I got the chance to engage in conversations with him. So I would just say, hey, good morning. He would speak back, and I would tell him, keep his head up. The same thing that I would say outside of the courthouse, and he would always thank me for my support. I went to his trial freshman in high school. He was old for me to like him, but I fell in love with his music. Robert's trial, his friend sent me a message and invited me to R. Kelly's party.
I told you, he knew you was weak.
And in the middle of me texting him back, Rob, he actually called my phone. And he was telling me, he said, I remember you. And I said, well, what do you remember me from? He said, you came to my trial. Thank you for your support. I was shocked. I felt like I was on top of the world.
Reading through the trial, looking at the images, she still doesn't want to believe it because in her mind, and she was so young, this is the person that spoke to her through music.
He invited me back to his mansion in Olympia Fields, and he told me to bring a bathing suit. By this time, it was like a little bit after my 16th birthday. I did lie about my age and tell him that
able to do this interview with me. All right, so to the listeners, just in case y'all don't know who Geronda is, Geronda was one of R. Kelly's ex-sex captives, okay? She's been featured on The Real. She's told her story. Briefly, she hasn't really gone in depth on the extent of the relationship between her and R. Kelly, and now she's here with me to tell it all, to tell what she couldn't say on national TV, okay? So it's fair game on the radio. Geronda, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Anytime, girl, anytime. I saw you in my comments on Instagram the other day backing up everything that I said about R. Kelly and his gay lover, Bubba, who's been sleeping together for years. But before we get into that, okay? I want to ask you, how long were you with R. Kelly?
I was with Rob for 8 months.
8 months, okay. And when did you meet him?
I met him when I was 14. I met him at the trial. So it was about 2 weeks before my 15th birthday. So this was back in 2008.
Okay, and this was in Chicago.
Yes, it was in Chicago during his trial.
All right. Now, how long did it take you guys to actually develop a sexual relationship? Because you did mention to me that you were a virgin when you met Rob.
Yes, I was a virgin when I met Rob, but I did suffer from sexual abuse as a child.
Okay. But just that was, involuntarily. So technically,
Now, to my
you were
understanding,
still a virgin because you didn't
most
agree
women
to have sex
that
with
has been
whoever
molested
violated you when
is
you were a child.
very
That
highly
is very
sexual.
true.
Okay.
But
Okay.
it didn't take long because when I went out there, the very first time I went out there, me and Rob engaged in sex.
And how old were you?
I was 16 years old
Wow.
when I went to his house.
1 year older than Aaliyah when he married Aaliyah when she was 15.
Yes.
Okay. Now, so he was your first.
Yes, he was.
All right. So you were with him 8 months. Now, you wrote a book, and it's called A Life After Abuse.
A life beyond abuse.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. A Life Beyond Abuse. Okay, and to those of y'all listening, the link is below the video. I highly recommend that you get that book.
Here's another point. Tasha K always come up with these flabbergasted ass stories and leading her. Now, she said she's been with him 8 months. I thought he was holding them captives. I thought he was training them up in the basement. 8 months relationship. And then she said she lied about her age the first time. Now all of a sudden she talking about she was 15 when she had sex with him. None of these stories add up, but she automatically wrote a book for only dating R. Kelly for 8 months. But he's supposed to have this cult and this harem. This whole story is ridiculous.
Agreement saying that I wouldn't talk about anything that happened at his house.
Okay.
And one of the things that was listed on that non-disclosure was that I was there to please him, even if that meant pleasuring someone else.
Oh.
So even if pleasing him meant that I had to pleasure someone else. So I just had to please him.
And that
so
was
it all about Rob.
And that
I just want to make a point right here. She first admitted to lying about her age. And also she called him Rob. I want y'all to remember that. She called him Rob. And also I want to point this out too as well. Now she's very publicly in pictures supporting R. Kelly at his trial. She's an easy target for anybody, especially the government, to look for her and utilize her as a tool or a weapon against R. Kelly. Because there's no pictures, there's no proof. We don't know what happened. Basically, there was no proof whatsoever. So I just want y'all to remember that. Also remember that she called him Rob. I just want y'all to remember that part. Because later down in this video, you're going to see why.
Asante McGee both say they had relationships with R. Kelly. Asante says she dated him from 2014 to 2016 and lived in his home for a month. Kitty says she started dating the singer back in June 2011. She thought they were in love and in a monogamous relationship. She gave up her job as a DJ, says she moved into his Atlanta home in November 2011 and spent 2 years there. But Kitty says the relationship became violent within weeks of her arrival. She shared details of her time with R. Kelly in her book, I Was Somebody Before This. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
What a title, Kitty. What a title.
Thank you.
So you were in that home for 2 years.
Yes.
Within 3 weeks, he became physically abusive?
It was actually Chicago, not Atlanta. Okay. About 2 weeks after I had moved in, I had confronted him about a videotape that I had saw, and it was a girl that he had introduced me to. And
now, to poke holes
first time he
into
became
Kitty Jones' story,
girl,
why would you confront him about a video? And the question is, where did you get the video from? Was this his phone? Did you see a VHS tape? Where is the video as of now? Since you've seen the video of what he's supposed to do back in the past, then where is it now?
Can't identify that woman, and so we don't know whether she was 14. They didn't think they could prove it was a child.
Right.
And
right.
you know this girl, and
He introduced me to her, and this is 2011, so years had gone by, and this person's an older woman now. But when I saw the videotape, I realized that that was the same girl he had introduced me to. So,
and how old do you
he
believe
flipped
she
out on
was
me.
in that sex tape?
When I did the math compared to how old she was when he introduced her to me, it landed on 14.
So you believe he was guilty of that charge?
Yes, and I confronted him about it, and that's when the first time he abused me.
I know you say he became extremely controlling.
Yes.
How so?
I had to wear sweatpants. I had to stand up when he would walk in a room. I did have to be on his phone plan. I know that.
Now I'm gonna just say a little something about this situation. She was on his phone plan. That means he was paying her phone bill. How controlling if you stay 2 years? That's the problem. If you knew early on what R. Kelly's supposed to do, how you stay 2 years? Now that's the question. And also to add to that, you was a DJ. You used to DJ. So tell me how you don't have the confidence enough to leave somebody that you feel like you're in an abusive relationship. It seems to me that these women are playing the victim because they all gone. They all left. But they were chained down and shackled up and locked in rooms and couldn't eat. It's just ridiculous that people believe that because they don't think. Use your mind, like he said, use your common sense. That don't make sense to me.
Tim?
I did. When I first met him back in 2013 during the Black Panties tour, he was this wonderful guy. He always made you laugh. You never saw anything wrong with him. Flying back and forth for 2 years, going to different shows, hanging out with him, he was just always this funny guy. And it was the summer of 2016, the beginning of the buffet tour. He pretty much put me on the bus from city to city back in Dallas, Texas, and I ended up in Oklahoma. And from Oklahoma, I ended up in Atlanta.
But did he control you in the way he controlled Kitty?
He controlled me once I moved in.
How so? Can you give us examples?
For example, when I was just flying in back and forth, he would send me texts. And for instance, I want to say Easter of 2015, I went to Chicago and I sat in the hotel for like 3 days before even having contact with him. And the day when I was about to leave, he just texted me out the blue and said, come to the studio. And I caught an Uber to the studio. I arrived there like 10 o'clock in the morning, and I told him I'm here. And he had his assistant put me in a Sprinter, which is a traveling van. I sat there from like 11 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock that night.
But what about, did you have to ask permission to go to the bathroom and get food and leave a room?
Yes, when I was on the Sprinter, I had to use the restroom, and I texted him, Daddy, I need to use the restroom. No
Daddy.
response. Yes.
Now, this the icing on the cake. Now, you notice Ashante said Daddy. Geronda said Rob. You ain't heard Kitty say not one thing. Now, watch how Megyn Kelly lead them on and make them seem like saying Daddy was a bad word. When everybody, especially black men, most our women call us Daddy. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a black way of greeting each other. That's just what we do. Some women do, some women don't. But we all get that daddy. So this is some crap.
We were required to call him Daddy.
Required to?
Yes, he told us to call him Daddy. You would address him as Daddy.
And if you didn't, you were...
Yeah, you would get in trouble if you didn't.
Yeah, or slapped.
How many women you were there most recently, so how many women are in this house?
At the time when I was there, it was a total of 4 of us. And it was 2...
Did you see Joycelyn?
Yes, I did see Joycelyn. My first time seeing Joycelyn was when I was at the house. And at this time, he told me, whenever you enter a room, you have to knock on a door and wait for permission for someone to say, come in.
Do you think Joycelyn is there of her own free will?
No, I don't.
Do you think she's been brainwashed?
Definitely. Because the things that he say, he make you turn. He pretty much try to say that your family is jealous that you're with him, your family wants to be with him, and you're happy, and this is what you need to do. And if you disobey him, he would like fake cry and make you sympathize. For instance, when we were in Oklahoma,
Let me just stand you by because he gave us a statement, and he's called these accusations unjust and unfair. He says the media has not spoken to enough women who support him.
I would like to end this video with this word. John chapter 8, verse 7 say, "So when they continue ask him, he lifted himself and said unto them, He that is without sin among you, let him cast a stone at her." If you look into yourself and ask yourself, do you have proof he did anything wrong? The answer will be no. It's all he say, she say. But here's the kicker. All his exes was gone. They was home. And he might have had a lot of women. When I was in the game, I either have 5 or 6 women a day. That's the norm when you got money. You got so many birds out there. So many people that feel like they're going to get into your pockets. They ain't doing that for no reason just because he's a cute guy or whatever. That's R. Kelly. Been making music and still making music for over 30 years. He's a genius. And the man don't even know how to read and write. But he know how to put them music together. He know how to make them songs. And that's the only reason why they put him in a situation. Because they don't want people like R. Kelly to get with the right people to make the right choices and to make his money. You know, I don't care about the law. You know, I'm telling you something I've been through. You know, these media mongols want to fatten their pockets up paying these people just to destroy somebody's career and then turn around and buy his catalog and still making money from his music. And then lock the man up for some he say. The man was found not guilty from the beginning. Why you bringing up all this past about all these ex-girlfriends and all of a sudden they got all these stories to tell? But before all this happened, they was home doing whatever they were doing. Whether they had nothing going on for themselves, whether they was sad because they broke up with R. Kelly, whatever the situation may be. Only thing you did was give them an outlet and then utilize emotions. Because that's an emotional thing, especially towards women when it comes to sexual abuse. Because majority of them been sexually abused by somebody in their family. So they can all feel that. And this goes all the way from Oprah Winfrey to Gayle King. Every last one of them been sexually abused by somebody or someone. But don't put all this blame on one person just because they stated or because people utilizing gossip just to get a payday. Because if all this happened, they should have been bringing this up before this documentary. You know, and then this proves my point. Who contacted these women? Who contacted them? The same thing with Tasha K. Oh, I seen you hit my Instagram. That's the problem. Social media. We all experience that every day. People say things that don't have nothing to do with the conversation, but they have an opinion. And that's all it is, opinions. No facts, opinions. You can win a lawsuit. That's why they got class action suit. Even if ain't nothing happened to you, you can join the class action suit because you got a lot of people that's saying the same thing. What they convicted him from? They convicted him of all these charges, but no proof. And we constantly allow this government to lock our black men up, destroy our black men, and then you worrying about why these little boys around here acting like punks. Why the mama sitting here calling a boy. You got the girls out there fighting harder than men do. You know the sad part, you know, prison destroys you physically, mentally, and spiritually. Tasha K, Gayle King, and all his girlfriend from the past coming back for a payday. Just remember this. Every dog has his day. And what goes around comes around. And the same way, this government utilize y'all as tools to destroy somebody's career, they could do the same thing to y'all. And when that day comes, don't look at us for no help. Because when people needed help, you throw them up under the bus. But I'm here to tell you right now, and I'm finna end this, they lying. And it proves it. All of them got different stories. But all of them went home. So make it make sense. How can you have a cult, a harem of girls, keeping them locked up and all this, but every last one of them went home? Every last one of them was living their life before all this happened. Years ago. Just ask yourself that question. For me, I'm petitioning to free R. Kelly because he don't need to be locked up. And we need to make a statement to this government to stop utilizing them fake laws to incarcerate our own people. I'm out.